Discover how one heartwarming act by a young girl unleashed 30 incredible supercars to her door. In a cozy suburb of Denver, Colorado, where front lawns glistened with morning dew and cheerful faces greeted the day, a spirited 10-year-old named Emily had big dreams. Her heart raced for cars, sleek, powerful supercars that seemed to dance on the asphalt. Armed with crayons and sketchbooks, she filled pages with dazzling drawings, inspired by the tales her father told about their magic. But those stories were painted in shades of melancholy now. Since losing his job as a mechanic, a shadow loomed over their household, stretching worry into the corners of their cozy home. Emily felt the weight of it every day. She watched her father's shoulders slump and his smile fade. Now, the chipper neighborhood felt heavy. She longed to restore the laughter and hope they once shared. Inspired by her dad's stories of kindness and compassion, she hatched a plan. With determination bubbling in her chest, she decided to host a lemonade stand, not just to earn some pocket change, but to raise funds for local veterans. A small city of service nestled inside her heart. As she squeezed lemons and mixed ice and sugar, her cheerful spirit drew attention. The stand, decorated with hand-painted signs, invited neighbors to sip and support. Word of Emily's mission spread like wildfire, igniting excitement across the community. Car enthusiasts soon began to roll in with their dazzling supercars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and bright yellow Bugattis, chrome shining in the sun. The sight was electric. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. She felt like she was in a dream. But not everyone embraced the spectacle. A simmering discontent began to bubble beneath the surface. While some neighbors cheered, others whispered, raising concerns over the divide that Emily's stand seemed to accentuate. Greed and jealousy dripped from their voices. When a wealthy collector arrived to donate a custom supercar, emotions flared. Accusations of privilege flew, casting shadows over Emily's innocent intentions. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Unaware of the brewing storm, Emily clutched her lemonade pitcher, a beacon of hope shining in her eyes, as she swirled around serving customers, not realizing the chaos unfolding within her tight-knit community. Her father confronted the car collector, stinging words exchanged, and doubts crept into Emily's heart. She wanted to unite her neighbors, yet the arguments raged louder than her dreams of kindness. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the stand, Emily sensed something was wrong. It was as if the warmth from the lemonade had vanished into the evening air. The joy she had envisioned was morphing into uncertainty. Could her small act of kindness truly bridge this widening divide? She stood tall, hope glistening in her eyes, yet doubt clung to her like an unwelcome shadow. With the sounds of discord echoing all around her, she pondered if she could somehow heal her fractured neighborhood. But could one child's heartwarming act really make a difference? Emily took a deep breath, the evening breeze brushing against her cheek like a gentle reminder of the warmth she had hoped to share. With her lemonade stand barely containing the chaos swirling around her, she felt a tang of disappointment stir in the pit of her stomach. She had set out to bring joy, but now it felt like she had unwittingly stirred the pot of division. Just as she contemplated this, her friend Mia rushed over, her hair bouncing with excitement. "Emily! You have to see what's happening." Intrigued, Emily followed Mia's gaze to where the collector stood, surrounded now by a small group of neighbors, faces twisted in anger. "This isn't fair." A voice called out. "What about those of us who can't afford even a slice of the joy those cars represent?" Emily's heart sank. The voices of discontent were seeping into the very space she had imagined filled with laughter and support. She felt her resolve begin to crack, yet a flicker of stubborn hope ignited within her. "We can fix this," she whispered to herself. Gathering her courage, she stepped out from behind her stand, heart pounding in her chest. As she approached the crowd, she noticed their frowns turning toward her, eyebrows raised, eyes filled with different shades of concern. Emily raised her chin, her mind racing for words that could mend the fracture she hadn't intended to create. "Everyone, please listen," she called, her voice lilting over the murmurs like a bell's chime. "I didn't want anyone to feel left out. I wanted to bring us all together." Some neighbors exchanged glances, surprised to see the little girl they had overlooked standing up for her dreams. She took another step forward, feeling the words gather momentum in her heart. "Those cars, they're not just about money or who can afford what. They represent dreams. Just like my dream to support our veterans." Emily paused, searching their faces. What if we could all share in that dream together? The crowd quieted, turning their full attention to her. For a moment, the bitterness disappeared, replaced by curiosity. She continued, feeling the rhythm of her words begin to lift the heaviness. "Instead of making this about what we don't have, let us make it about what we can give. Together, we could create a car show, with everyone's cars no matter how big or small, along with the donations to help the veterans." Gasps of surprise mixed with whispers of agreement floated through the air. Smiles began to crack those frowns, even as doubt lingered on some faces. Emily could see that hearts were slowly thawing. Her father stepped forward, looking weary yet filled with pride, a charged atmosphere crackling between them. "Emily's right," he said, and for the first time in a while, his voice rang clear. "If we stop seeing each other as different, and instead as part of one neighborhood, we can truly make a change." Now, Emily felt the tide shifting. Encouraged by her father's words, determination surged through her. She could feel the very foundation of her community start to shift. But then, amidst the cautious optimism, a stern voice broke through the crowd. "And what if it doesn't work? What if it just causes more chaos?" A wary neighbor challenged, an edge of skepticism threading through their doubt. The room paused, tension charging the air again. Emily's heart raced, a weight pressing on her chest. Could they really come together? Would they take the leap of faith she was offering? As she looked around, searching for a flicker of someone who might believe in her idea, she felt a mixture of fear and excitement. This was her moment, but would they allow it to slip away? With her dreams pinned against the judgment of her community, she clung to hope, ready to fight for what she believed in. Would her vision of unity take flight, or would the shadows of doubt suffocate her dreams before they could soar? Emily took a deep breath, feeling the hopeful energy mingling with uncertainty in the air. She squared her shoulders and turned to face the crowd once more, searching for someone who might be moved by her words. "We are all neighbors," she said softly, her voice steadying. "What if we just put aside our fears for a moment? We could create something amazing together." A woman in the front, her arms crossed tightly, looked skeptical. "You're just a kid. How do you think you can pull this off?" Emily met her gaze. "Because I believe in us. If we can just share our hearts and our cars, we can show everyone that this community stands together." Murmurs swept through the crowd, a mix of doubt and contemplation. Mia stood at the edge, her eyes wide, uncertain but supportive. "You've got this, Em," she whispered, giving her a thumbs up. Seeing the flicker of encouragement from her friend, Emily pressed on. "Let us each contribute what we can. Those of you who have cars can bring them, and those who can't, can help in other ways. We can bake cookies, sell lemonade, raise funds for our veterans." The woman in the front began to soften. "What about the costs? The permits?" "We can figure that out," Emily replied, her confidence growing. "I'll ask my dad to help. He used to work with cars, and I know Mr. Thompson down the street has some connections." In that moment, something changed in the air. The neighbors began to exchange glances again, whispers mixing with nods of agreement. Emily could feel it, the shift from skepticism to possibility. What if it really could work? A voice called from the back. It was Mr. Johnson, an older man with a weathered face who had always been kind to her. We could showcase our cars and use it to fundraise. It could be a way to remember our veterans. That's it! Emily exclaimed, her heart swelling with excitement. We could invite everyone to bring their cars, from classic to electric. Let us make a family day of it. A few people clapped, and the murmurs turned into laughter and lighter conversation. Emily's heart soared as she saw smiles appearing across the once tense faces. The community was starting to come together, united in a shared vision. But then, a familiar voice broke through the noise again. What if we fail? Doubt surfaced once more, coming from a neighbor she'd never met before. What if it doesn't work out as planned? Emily felt the weight of that question hanging over her. She looked deep into the crowd, breathing in the mix of anticipation and fear. But what if we try? She said, her voice steady as she held their gaze. Even if we stumble, we'll be doing it together. We'll be creating something meaningful. Together. At that moment, the tension broke like a wave crashing on the shore. A ripple of applause ignited as more people began to cheer. Emily's heart raced as she realized how the idea had taken root. She couldn't help but grin at Mia, who was jumping up and down with joy. As the crowd began to chatter and plan, collecting ideas, Emily felt a wave of relief wash over her. Maybe, just maybe, they would pull this off. The laughter grew, voices blending in a melody of hope and community. But as the excitement buzzed around her, Emily felt a nagging thought at the back of her mind. What if there were still obstacles lying ahead? Would her dream of unity withstand the challenges that lay in wait? With her heart full of hope yet fraught with questions, Emily stared into the night sky, pondering what hurdles they might face on this journey toward community togetherness. Would they be strong enough to overcome whatever tried to tear them apart next? As the weeks flew by, the vision of the car show transformed from a mere idea into a tangible reality. Emily felt like she was riding a wave, each day bringing her community closer together. Posters went up in local shops, and word of mouth spread like wildfire. Cars were promised, cookies were baked, and excitement crackled in the air. Emily spent nearly every afternoon organizing with her dad, who was eager to lend a hand. They met with Mr. Thompson, who graciously agreed to assist with the permits. She learned about responsibilities that came with leadership. The weight was both thrilling and daunting. Mia, can you believe it? The whole town is getting involved. Emily exclaimed one day, a wide smile lighting up her face. Mia grinned back, the pride shining in her eyes. I knew you could do it. I can't wait to see the look on everyone's faces when they pull in with their cars. Yet, amidst the excitement, Emily could still hear the voice of doubt that lingered, like a shadow, always slightly behind her. What if not enough people showed up? What if they didn't raise enough money? What if she let everyone down? Guilt occasionally crept in at the thought of her steadfast friends and neighbors trusting her. One evening, as they sprawled on the grass in Emily's backyard, Mia broke the quiet. Emily, I know we're close to the date, but are you nervous? Taking a deep breath, Emily looked up at the sky, stars twinkling brightly. Sometimes I am. What if we open the park and no one comes? She sat up, brushing the grass from her hands. What if this whole thing blows up in our faces? Mia put her hand on Emily's shoulder. But remember what you always say? Trying is what counts. And look how far we've come. Think about the people who will be happy to come out just for that reason. You've done so much already. Those words hung in the air, a reminder that supporting one another forms the heart of their community. Feeling renewed resolve, Emily nodded, smiling faintly. You're right, she said. We've met new neighbors, shared our stories, it's already a win. As the big day approached, the work became frantic. Emily coordinated a team of volunteers, each eager to lend their energy and time. They filled the park with banners, set up tables, and set up a stage for local musicians to perform. The sound of laughter and conversation mixed with the scent of baked goods wafting through the air. The night before the show, Emily found herself wide awake, thoughts racing in every direction. She sat on her bed, staring at the ceiling, visions of cars and families streaming into the park dancing in her mind. Her dad peeked in, sensing her restlessness. "Hey, kiddo. Can't sleep?" he asked softly, settling down next to her. Emily sighed. "I just want everything to be perfect. What if I don't deliver?" He chuckled and gave her a reassuring pat on the back. "You've already delivered more than you know. It's about bringing people together, and you've done that beautifully. The rest will follow." With those words wrapping around her like a warm blanket, Emily finally dozed off, visions of hope replacing her fears. Morning dawned bright and clear, the kind of day that felt imbued with magic. Laughter floated in the air as cars rolled into the park, families arriving one after another. But as Emily stepped out to greet them, she spotted something she had never expected: a sleek, black supercar glinting in the sunlight, attracting gazes like a magnet. What did it mean? Who could it belong to? In that moment, Emily felt her heart race. What surprises awaited her today? Emily's breath caught in her throat as she took in the sleek contours of the supercar. It stood out like a shooting star amid a sea of vibrant colors and familiar makes. Whispers filled the air, each spectator's eyes glued to the car. It was a sight that belonged in a showroom, not parked casually in their community park. "Is that real?" Mia shouted, practically bouncing on her toes, her eyes wide. I think so," Emily stammered, shaking off the initial shock. "But who would bring it here? Doesn't it seem like the kind of car you just drive around for fun?" As they walked closer, the crowd thickened, eager and curious. The growl of a loud engine soon filled the air, drowning out the hum of laughter and chatter. Emily's heart raced, not only from excitement but from an unfurling worry. What if the owner turned out to be someone who didn't fit in with their small-town spirit? Suddenly, the door of the supercar swung open. A tall figure stepped out, sporting a leather jacket and shades that only added to the air of mystery. Gasps erupted from the onlookers. Emily's palms turned clammy. What if he's just here to show off? She whispered to Mia, who echoed her concern with a frown. The man strolled over to the registration table, confidence radiating from every step. Once there, he glanced around, meeting eyes with a few of the neighboring kids, sparking intrigued murmurs that rippled through the crowd. "Hey, everyone!" he called out, voice deep but friendly. "I'm Jake. I heard about this car show from some friends back in the city. I thought I'd stop by and see what the fuss was about." A murmur of excitement washed over the crowd, and for a moment, it felt as if the park held its breath, suspended in a mix of excitement and suspicion. Emily realized she should be welcoming, but her gut twisted with anxiety. What if he makes everyone else feel like their cars are not good enough? She wondered, unable to shake the feeling. Jake scanned the crowd. "So, where's the real action?" He pointed at a row of classic cars, the nostalgia bubbling up in joy from older folks who owned them. Relief washed over Emily. Maybe he was here to appreciate the show, not overshadow it. She straightened her shoulders, taking a step forward. "We'd love to have you. We're here to enjoy the love for cars and the community." Her words seemed to hang in the air, a bridge of openness. Mia chimed in, "And we've baked tons of cookies. You should try some after your show." Emily winced at her own enthusiasm, but Jake laughed, the tension breaking. "I'll take a cookie. But only if I can meet some real car lovers. I'm guessing that's you too." Before long, Jake engaged with other attendees, sharing stories and laughter. He blended into the crowd, becoming part of the excitement Emily had spent so long building. The barriers melted away, leaving Emily feeling a surge of pride. As the sun lifted higher, the crowd continued to grow thicker. Suddenly, a roar of engines filled the air, more than just one, not just the sound of Jake's car, but others too. Emily's heart flipped as she glanced over her shoulder to see an unexpected parade of supercars rolling down the street toward the park. "Oh my gosh!" Mia gasped, her eyes as wide as saucers. "Are those?" "Yes. More supercars." Emily cheered, pulse quickening with a new wave of adrenaline. What was happening? Who had gathered so many incredible cars? The park buzzed with energy as families pointed and chattered excitedly. In that moment, as the cars cruised in, Emily felt like a conductor orchestrating a symphony. Had Jake somehow sparked this, or was it purely coincidence? The sound of engines faded as the new arrivals parked, and Emily's head spun with questions and a sense of wonder. Just then, deep beneath the noise, she could feel something much larger at play, an electric connection among her community and the spirit of togetherness. But amidst the thrill, a whisper of uncertainty lingered. What else could this day unearth? The world felt alive with possibilities. As Emily grinned at the sight of the cars gleaming under the sun, she wondered, would they reveal more than just machines today? Would the presence of these outside strangers bring deeper connections within their community, or crack it apart? The atmosphere crackled with energy as supercars rolled into the park, each gleaming like a jewel under the sun. Families gathered, the air thick with laughter and conversation. Emily could hardly believe how much had changed in just a few minutes. What had started as a simple car show was blossoming into a grand event. A sleek blue sports car parked next to the supercar, and Emily's heart skipped. The driver, a woman with wild curls and sunglasses, leaped out, waving. "This is amazing!" she shouted, her joy infectious. "I couldn't resist joining when I saw all the excitement from the road." Mia leaned closer, eyes sparkling. "I can't keep up." "Do you think there'll be even more?" "It feels like everyone in town is coming," Emily replied, bewilderment morphing into glee. She could feel the warmth of community spreading among them like a cozy quilt, wrapping around her heart. Jake approached them. "Looks like I'm not the only one who loves a good car show," he grinned. Emily felt a slight flutter in her stomach. There was something about him that drew her in, maybe it was the shared excitement or his easy way with people. As cars continued to arrive, Jake began helping the newcomers park. He had an effortless charm as he greeted each driver, diving into chats about engines and horsepower. Emily watched him, something deep inside her stirring. She noticed how everyone felt at ease around him. He had a way of making strangers feel like old friends. "Let us show everyone our favorite classic cars," Mia suggested, her enthusiasm bubbling over. Emily nodded, and together they pulled a group of kids towards the row of classic vehicles, sharing stories behind each one. Each tale connected them stronger to the history of their town, sparking admiration and laughter. In that moment, Emily felt the weight of her earlier worries lift. Rather than detracting from their small-town charm, Jake's South presence and the parade of supercars seemed to broaden it. More than just cars, they brought new stories and laughter. Emily wondered where this newfound spirit would take them, and a flicker of hope ignited inside her. "Hey, can we do a group photo?" someone shouted from the crowd. Before long, dozens of people clustered together, grinning. Jake stood at the forefront, arms raised in excitement. Emily squeezed in next to him, and when their shoulders brushed, she felt warmth spread through her. Just as the camera clicked, a loud rev of engines cut through the air. A roguishly loud rumble rolled in from the street as another parade of cars approached. This time, motorcycles sped into the park, gleaming beneath the bright sun. With each roar, Emily's anticipation turned to disbelief. Mia squealed, "Are they coming too?" The excitement was palpable. Emily's heartbeat raced as she realized, against all odds, this wasn't just a day of cars, this was transformation. The park, once a quiet spot, was now the heart of festivities, connections, and perhaps, new beginnings. But just as she began to revel in the joyful chaos, an unsettling thought crept in: could they maintain this energy, this connection after today? Would these new friendships last beyond the confines of this summer afternoon? As Emily gazed out at the thrumming crowd, a mix of hope and worry churned within her. The air vibrated with dreams and uncertain futures. Just then, she noticed Jake looking toward her, his expression earnest, as if he could sense her internal battle. What would he say if she trusted him with her fears? Suddenly, she felt an urge to step forward and voice everything before it slipped away like the fleeting summer day. Would she dare to share her heart, or would she keep its whisper trapped within? The roar of motorcycles filled the park, drowning out Emily's racing thoughts. The crowd erupted into cheers, their excitement elevating the energy to new heights. Riders in leather jackets revved their engines, some weaving in and out, performing playful tricks. Laughter bubbled up, and Emily caught Mia jumping up and down, her joy contagious. "Can you believe this?" Mia exclaimed, her face alight with wonder. "This is unreal." Emily managed a smile, her anxieties about the future temporarily overshadowed by the sheer thrill surrounding them. In that moment, the park had transformed into a celebration of life, filled with the mutual exhilaration of strangers becoming friends. She could see the engaged faces of the parents reminiscing about their youth, and the kids, wide-eyed, eyes gleaming at the spectacle unfolding before them. "Let us go check them out," Jake said, breaking through her swirling thoughts. He reached for Emily's hand, and an electric spark shot through her at the touch. As they ventured toward the motorcycle lineup, Emily felt both exhilaration and fear. "What if I mess this up?" she thought. Jake caught her eye and smiled, a reassuring smile that settled her nerves as they navigated through the throng. They reached the first motorcycle, a gleaming black beast. Emily marveled at how intricate and powerful it looked. "I've never seen one up close like this," she admitted, leaning toward the machine. The rider, sensing her admiration, grinned. "You should give it a try. Just hop on," he said, motioning her over. Emily hesitated, unsure. But as Jake's hand squeezed her shoulder gently, his encouragement was enough. "Go for it." With a racing heart, she climbed onto the seat. The engine purred to life beneath her, and she could feel the vibration coursing through her. Laughter bubbled up as Mia stood nearby, taking snapshots of the moment. She desperately wanted to freeze this feeling, this day, in time. After a few moments of play acting as a motorcycle rider, she climbed off, her legs shaky, laughter spilling from her lips. Turning to Jake, her chest felt full, spread wide with an openness she didn't know she had. "I cannot believe I just did that." "See? You're braver than you think," Jake said, his eyes reflecting admiration. That gaze sent warmth spreading through her. They wandered through the crowd, swapping stories with the motorcycle lovers, laughing at tales of travels and adventures. Emily soaked in the vibrant atmosphere, feeling connections forming like a web around them, solidifying the sense of community she had once worried would slip away. Just as the motorcycles revved off and another parade of cars rolled in, Emily spotted a familiar face: Lucy, her best friend since childhood. Lucy waved enthusiastically, making her way through the crowd and beckoning Emily over. "Did you see everything? It's amazing!" Lucy exclaimed. The two shared an embrace filled with shared joy and awe. As they caught up, Emily could see that Lucy had always managed to find the shimmer in the mundane, the beauty in small moments. It was a reminder of an old connection, grounding and hopeful. While the festivities continued to unfold around them, Emily found herself glancing at Jake, wondering if she could share her feelings about the day with him. Could she admit to him how much she wanted more of this as well as more of him? Before she could decide, the sky darkened briefly and a heavy cloud rolled in, obscuring the warm sun. The nearby laughter faded as the crowd collectively looked up. Emily felt a knot in her stomach. Would this sudden shift in the weather extinguish the day's magic? What is going to happen now? Mia whispered, a shiver running down her spine. Will the storm ruin everything they've built today, or could Emily find the courage to express her heart before the downpour breaks? The shift in the weather brought a sudden chill, and for a moment, the bubbling excitement of the park felt fragile, like a soap bubble waiting to burst. Emily felt her heart race once more, but now it wasn't from adrenaline or joy. It was fear. The vibrant laughter of the crowd faded, replaced by an uneasy hush. She looked at Jake, who was now scanning the sky, concern creasing his brow. "Do you think it's gonna rain?" Mia asked, her voice trembling slightly. The carefree atmosphere seemed fragile, hanging by a thread. "I don't know," Jake replied, still watching the clouds. "But if it does, we can find shelter. There are plenty of trees around here." He glanced at Emily, that comforting smile rekindling. It could just be a little bit of rain. But as the wind picked up, sending leaves spinning to the ground, Emily felt something deeper than just a weather change. Glancing back at Lucy, she perked up. "We were having the best time. Let us not let a little rain stop us, right?" "Yes. We can still enjoy ourselves. Let us keep the fun going," Mia echoed. The affirmation brought a tremor of hope to Emily's heart. Before they could move to find shelter or continue enjoying the games, an unexpected sound cracked through the air like thunder, but sharper, louder. The crowd turned again, excitement building as the source of the din revealed itself. Just beyond the park's edge, a line of sleek supercars glinted under the murky sky, engines finely tuned, ready to roar. Emily's eyes widened as her heart surged with delight. "Look at that!" she shouted, pointing. Everyone turned to see the impressive fleet inching into view, each car rivaling the beauty of a sculpture. The headlights flickered as engines revved, and excitement rippled through the crowd once more. "Those are amazing. Can you imagine?" Jake said, his face radiating enthusiasm. He didn't let go of Emily's hand, invigorating her with an electrifying pulse. They started to make their way toward the newly arrived spectacle, a magnetic pull guiding them through the throng of people moving closer. Each car was a marvel so perfectly designed, shapes crafting themselves into a conversation of speed, luxury, and adventure. They paused in awe, faces lit up like children gazing at a candy store. "Can we get a closer look?" Mia asked, practically bouncing on her feet. "I want to take pictures with all of them." As they moved to the front, a charismatic spokesperson arrived to explain what the event entailed. "We brought these for a special cause, to inspire kids to pursue their dreams," he declared, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "And if you all want, you can hop in and take quick rides." The crowd erupted in joy, cheers mixing with the roar of engines. Emily's heart soared again, feeling this moment could snap like a springboard launching them into something even greater. "This could be incredible," Lucy exclaimed, her eyes shimmering with glee. "What if we actually got to ride in one?" "What if," Emily whispered to herself, caught in the swell of excitement. But beneath the thrill, a thread of anxiety flickered. What if she still held back? "Emily," Jake leaned down, sensing her silence amidst the vibrant surroundings, "you okay?" She felt the weight of his gaze and the warmth of his hand still clutching hers. She wanted to burst open, to tell him everything sparking inside her. Here they were, surrounded by a world of possibilities, and yet the rain clouds loomed overhead, just like her fears. Before she could answer, the first ride was about to begin. If she could only take this leap, if only she could unravel her heart in that moment. But would she? The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. As the engine roared to life, and the first car zoomed past, Emily stood at the edge of possibility. Would she take her chance before the storm hit? Emily's heart thundered in her chest as the first car shot forward, its sleek body a blur against the darkening sky. The roar of the engine stirred a wild kind of exhilaration within her. With each second that ticked by, she felt the electric beat of the moment beginning to sweep her away, but then the clouds above shifted ominously again, a reminder that the thrill might be short-lived. "Who's going to be first?" the spokesperson called out, waving his arms to rally the crowd. His enthusiasm was infectious, inviting everyone into a dance of adrenaline and excitement that seemed to erase the creeping chill of the weather. The crowd surged forward, faces lighting up with glee, eyes twinkling like kids at a fair. Lucy grabbed Emily's arm, practically bouncing off the ground. "We have to do this," she squealed. "Can you imagine telling everyone we rode in a supercar?" Emily looked over at Jake, their hands still intertwined. His eyes sparkled with the thrill of the moment. "What do you think?" he asked, his voice warm but laced with the weight of her hesitation. "You feeling brave?" That word echoed in her mind, brave. What did it mean? She had always seen herself as someone cautious, someone careful, ready to play it safe. But today felt different. The roar of those engines felt like a call to be more than just the studious girl. To push past the boundaries. She took a deep breath, letting the fresh scent of rain and gasoline mix as she considered the fleeting chance before her. Would she let fear dictate this moment? Or would she step into the whirlwind? As if sensing her struggle, Mia chimed in, "Emily, you could totally rock this. Just think about it, an adventure. You'll be fine." She nodded, though her voice was barely a whisper. "Okay, I'll do it." The words slipped out, surprising even her. She could do this. Just like that, a flame ignited inside her, warming her against the chill. The first car came to a stop, a polished black beauty with an open door waiting to welcome its passenger. The crowd erupted into applause, and the spokesperson directed the cheers toward Emily. "Here comes our first brave soul." With her heart racing and determination rushing through her, she squeezed Jake's hand one last time before letting go and stepping forward. Each step felt monumental, a journey into her own courage. The driver, a man in slick sunglasses and a broad smile, waved her in. "Ready for the ride of a lifetime?" "More than ready," Emily shouted, her voice blending into the cheers of encouragement from the crowd. As she slid into the plush seat, a wave of excitement flooded her body. The door clicked shut with a definitive thud, sealing her commitment. The driver revved the engine, the sound filling every inch of her being. The crowd faded into a distant hum as the world outside blurred into colors and shapes. "Hold on tight," he yelled, and without another word, they took off like a shot, a burst of speed that pinned her against the seat, an exhilarating thrill unlike anything she had ever experienced. Emily couldn't help but laugh, her joy erupting into the wind. But as they zipped around the course, the clouds above erupted. A sudden downpour hit, cold and relentless. Lightning split the sky, and the roar of the storm seemed to echo the rushing of her heartbeat. Would she be able to enjoy this ride in the heart of chaos? And what about her friends? She turned back to look at Jake and the others, their faces a mix of thrill and concern. The storm raged on, blurring the lines between fear and exhilarating adventure. As they sped onward, Emily felt a surge within her, a feeling that perhaps this day could shift everything she believed about herself. But as fear licked at the edges of her newfound courage, a sharp twist in the track ahead caught her off guard. Would she embrace the curve or sink into doubt? As the car hurtled forward, every instinct told her to hold on, but what if letting go was the key to freedom? The car screamed through the slick turns, tires gripping the asphalt like a heart clinging desperately to hope. Emily felt weightless, each jolt of the vehicle sending bursts of adrenaline through her veins. Rain hammered against the windshield, creating a constant beat that matched the pounding of her heart. She was in the moment, tumbling through a kaleidoscope of emotions where fear and joy danced together. The rushing wind tangled her hair, the world around her blurred into shades of gray, occasionally pierced by flashes of headlights bouncing off the pavement. For a fleeting instant, everything outside the car melted away, and it was just her, the powerful machine, and the thunder of the storm. As they sped around the track, Emily turned to the driver, grinning from ear to ear. "This is amazing!" she shouted over the roar, exhilaration pouring from every pore. Fear slipped from her grasp like water through her fingers, her spirit soared higher with every twist. The driver chuckled, "Hold on." Another burst of speed sent Emily back into her seat, the joy overtaking her senses. She could feel that this ride was more than just a thrill, it was liberation from all the worry that had bound her heart. From the sidelines, she caught glimpses of her friends. Mia's face lit up with encouragement, Jake's eyes gleamed with excitement, and Lucy cheered louder than anyone. They were all there supporting her dreams, embracing this wild adventure with shared hearts. But then, the rain began to fall harder, turning into a curtain that bordered on chaos. Water pooled on the track, and the driver tightened his grip on the wheel, navigating the slick surface with skill. Fear began to creep back in, pulling at the edges of Emily's thrill like a storm cloud looming over a bright day. What if they skidded out of control? What if the car spun? Intense panic threatened to overwhelm her as they began to slide. That's when Emily remembered the words her dad had always shared about believing in yourself, about how fear could be both a monster and a motivator. "Focus on the road," she yelled, her voice cutting through the storm. It was time to embrace the moment fully, nobody could dominate her feelings but her. Just as she thought that, the car swerved an electric plummet that made her stomach flip and her heart race. In that instant, she let go of her fear like tossing a pebble into a vast lake, creating ripples of determination. She willed her heart to stay steady, to trust the process, and more importantly, to trust herself. Then it hit her. This wasn't just about the ride, it was about everything that had led up to this moment. Emily thought of her lemonade stand, of her dreams for her community, and how every struggle had built up to this transformative day. The storm couldn't take away what they had created together. "Let us do this," she yelled, her spirit igniting with purpose. She gripped the edge of her seat tighter, no longer just a passenger but a partner in the journey. The car navigated the curves, cutting through the rain with the grace she had hoped to inspire in her community. When they rounded the last turn, the rain began to lift, and the sun peeked through the clouds, casting golden rays onto the track. The driver slowed the car as they crossed the finish line, cheers erupted from the crowd, and a surge of pride spread through Emily, filling her chest with warmth. As the car came to a stop, Emily stepped out into the pouring rain, hands shaking and heart racing, but now it was a rhythm of exhilaration. The thunder grew soft, and the storm had transformed from menace to magic. She had faced the storm head-on. Jake rushed up to her, excitement painted across his features. "You were incredible. I can't believe you did that." Lucy and Mia enveloped her in a group hug, their thrilled laughter ringing clear in the now calming storm. "That was the best ride ever." They cheered, and Emily's heart swelled. With droplets of rain trailing her cheeks, she felt a wellspring of connection around them. They had found unity amid chaos. Emily realized that through a simple act of hosting, her dream to connect the community had spun into a whirlwind of togetherness, and today she had pushed herself through barriers she'd thought were impossible. As they all laughed together, joy painting their faces like a masterpiece, she noticed how the park's energy shifted. Friends and strangers mingled, sharing stories, laughter, and newfound dreams, determined to support one another like never before. Her father stepped forward, a proud smile breaking through his weariness. "You did it, Emily. You brought everyone together through rain or shine." With that, Emily's chest burst with happiness. She had transformed not just the community but herself, facing the storm and riding it out with hope. Opting for a moment of reflection, she looked into the distance where the cars lined up, a world of possibilities awaiting. Unsure of the next adventure yet sure of the journey, she turned to her friends, eager to explore the endless roads ahead. It was a celebration, a promise, a hallmark of a summer day that started with vulnerabilities but had ignited spirits. As the sun broke free from its gray confines, Emily felt the truth wrapped around her heart like a warm embrace. They were true neighbors, true friends, bound by compassion, dreams, and the courage to connect. And in that instant, surrounded by love and laughter, she understood one thing clearly: today had revealed the power of unity. Emily smiled, knowing that her adventures were just beginning. Now, the rain had stopped, but it would never diminish the warmth they had created. The storm had only washed away hesitation, making way for a brighter, more connected tomorrow. And you, reading this, you can be a part of that incredible journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every single click matters. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Come share the love. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Only true fans understand the power of connection through these actions.